Last summer, in an effort to address crime in this community and in recognition of the fact that we cannot address it simply through policing methods, we established the Collective, which is a group of all of the law enforcement agency heads as well as other key partners in the area of public safety. And one of the initiatives that we implemented right away was the Neighborhood Public Safety Initiative. Again, in recognition of the fact that we need to work with our neighbors and other organizations if we are really to make a sustainable difference in public safety in this community. And that's the purpose for this event today. There have been several pieces to this. We've actually, using crime data, we are working primarily in neighborhoods where there's a high crime rate and working with the neighbors in that community to address the issues that impact the neighborhood. So we're working in Griffin Heights and Frenchtown area. We're also, we'll be initiating some activities in the Bond area relatively soon, this week, I think, or tomorrow, that's very soon. And then after we get Bond on their way, we'll also move to the South City area. And the idea is that we come into the neighborhood, we kick off the activities, we engage the community action team, we stand down and we support the neighborhood, but really if this is to work, we need the people who live in the neighborhoods to take ownership of the programs and initiatives and then tell us when and how we can assist you with that. So initially, we had a kickoff meeting in this neighborhood just to talk about what the initiative could include, to get feedback from the neighborhood as to what the concerns and the issues were, and then ideas about how we could work together to address those. And then back in October, and I think several of you were a part of that, we actually walked the neighborhood. And I didn't realize how big it was until I was walking it. But we walked the neighborhood with volunteers and neighbors in the community, identifying issues that we thought were important to address in order to make it a safer neighborhood. So we looked at beautification issues, we looked at abandoned houses, and properties where we know crime can take place if we don't address those areas. So now what we're doing this week is we're kicking off the big clean, or the neighborhood initiative to actually address those things that we identified back in October.
The Tallahassee Police Department has been committed to community policing and working with the community to make it safer and better. And this is what the Neighborhood Public Safety Initiative is all about. It incorporates the principles of listening, working together, and creating an atmosphere where everybody feels safe and can take advantage of the opportunities and dreams that we all have for our families and our children growing up. The idea over the last few years, as we've been working on bringing crime down and starting to see progress in those areas, is how do we now carry it through and make it sustainable? And we saw a 14% reduction of violent crime in 2016. In 2017, we've seen about a 14% overall reduction in crime. So everything's headed in the right areas, and now it's how do we build upon those successes and make it sustainable long term, and we want to create neighborhoods that people are proud to live in. And that goes far beyond traffic enforcement, arresting street level drug dealers, and those issues of crime that occur. It's the quality of life issues. We don't want to see garbage on the street. We don't want to see abandoned properties. We want neighborhoods people are proud to be part of and take ownership of, and the prouder we are of the neighborhoods we live in, the better care we take of them, and the less opportunity for crime there is. So all these principles that we're working together inside the police department with community policing, working with the neighborhoods, this was just the next step in that philosophy, and how can we work together and build a better, stronger community, neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block. And that's what the Neighborhood Public Safety Initiative is about, working with the collective and our other partners, and most of all, the people who live in the neighborhood, who have the most at stake at what happens here every day, are the people who have the loudest voice and the strongest voice in what we do and how we do it. And it's been great to work with so many of you over the last few years and continue to work together and continue to make this neighborhood and the entire city even better than it is.
As a property owner in this community for 47 years, attending the old Griffin School right across the street, raising 3 children in this neighborhood and community, I have a passion for this community, for this neighborhood. In fact, I have a vested interest as a taxpayer to have a voice, to want to see things better for all of us. So I say to you, those of you who are working to carry out this initiative, we hope that this will not be a one-time effort in getting the work done that needs to be done in this community. We want this to be an on and on effort, on the parts of the city, and I pledge to you that it will be an on and on assessment on the parts of we as residents. We have a job as residents as well. We got to do what it is that we should do to keep our neighborhood looking as it should be.
I want to thank everyone for the initiative and the cooperation that we have started to clean up our neighborhoods. As we've all said, it's very, very important for the residents, the families, not only the ones that's living here now, but the ones that grew up in this community. You can come back and help us to revitalize our community. Because if you look around, I was just reminiscing about what I did when I grew up trying to sneak over here to Day Street and try to make it home by 3:30. So, and back then we had people that looked out for one another. So that's what we're looking for, to come together to make sure this community, Frenchtown community, the Southside community, the Bond community, and any other community that needs to be revitalized and need the cooperation of their residents to please be invested in your neighborhood. The community leaders cannot do this alone. It takes all of us to do this job. Thank you.
And with that being said, I thank you for being here, and we're off to get the work done.